take us a walk down memory lane and just for a moment remind Americans who happen to be Black what they've contributed, not just to Black America, but to all of America.
Well, you know, you see the large number of young Black males involved in the penal system. And you think about the tremendous potential that exists there. And I like to say, anyone could have taken that young Black male when he was just 6 years old and walked down the streets of Washington, D.C. or any other major city and given him a Black history lesson he would have never forgotten. You could start by pointing to his shoes and say, you know, it was Jan Matzliger, a Black man who invented the automatic shoe lasting machine, which revolutionized the shoe industry throughout the world. And you step on that clean street. There was Charles Brooks, a Black man who invented the street sweeper, those machines with the big brushes that go down the street. And down that street comes a big refrigerated tractor trailer truck. Frederick Jones, a Black man, invented the refrigeration system for trucks, later adopted for airplanes, trains, and ships. And it comes to a stop at the red light. Garrett Morgan, a Black man, invented the traffic signal. He also invented the gas mask, saved lots of lives during the war. And while you're talking about the war, Henrietta Bradbury, a Black woman, who invented the underwater cannon, made it possible to launch torpedoes from submarines. And you see a beautiful Black woman walking down the street that reminds you of Madam C.J. Walker, a Black woman who invented cosmetic products for women of dark complexion. Was the first woman of any nationality in this nation to become a millionaire on her own efforts. And you walk past the hospital, Charles Drew, his contributions to blood banking, understanding the function of blood plasma. Daniel Hale Williams, the first successful open heart surgery in the world, had an operative mortality rate less than 1.5%. You look up at the surgical light, Thomas Edison. Well, he wasn't Black, but his right-hand man, Lewis Latimer, was. How Lewis Latimer invented the filament that made it possible for a light bulb to work for more than 2 or 3 days. Lewis Latimer invented the electric lamp. Lewis Latimer diagrammed the telephone for Alexander Graham Bell, was a tremendous inventor and intellect. Most people have never heard of him. You go by the railroad tracks. Andrew Beard, the automatic railroad car coupler, spurred on the Industrial Revolution. Elijah McCoy, the automatic lubrication system for locomotive engines. And, you know, people were always trying to imitate what he did. So people, when they bought something, they say, is that a McCoy? Is that the real McCoy? That's where the term comes from. You got racist people using that term that don't even know who they're paying a homage to. That's just barely scratching the surface of the contributions that Black people have made to this country. But one of the points that I emphasize in the book also is that every group has contributed to our country. We could take that walk down the street for a lot of different groups and point out all kinds of things that were contributed by that group. Our diversity is not a problem. It is a tremendous advantage. And we have to stop letting people foment hatred between the different groups. It doesn't make any sense. And really, when you stop and think about it, would you actually be happier if everybody looked just alike? In some cases, that would be a disaster. So we should be happy that God was gracious enough to give us variety. It adds spice to life. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.